family. We are here today with Ryan Graves, and he is here to talk a little bit about his MLS debut. Ryan, thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah. So, as we get started, can you give the Nisoa family a little bit of background on how you got started, how you kind of traveled through your officiating journey, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so I think my story is gonna be pretty common with most people. I was a soccer player, in my local club. I was probably about 14 years old, I think, and we got an email asking for us to sign up as referees so we could help out with the younger players' games. So we had a little shortage of referees, and they kind of listed the pay in the email, and I was like, wow, I think back then it was like 28 bucks a game for like an hour's work. And as a 14-year-old, you can't beat that. So I was like, all right, I can do a couple of games a weekend. So I went and took the course and started working those younger games. And, as I kind of got into it, I got that different side of the game, the different perspective of being a referee. It's a different part of the game. And I enjoyed it. I just kept doing it for a couple years. And I think I did it for 2 years while I still played, around my playing schedule. But then around 16, I started working my way up doing higher level youth. And I just gave up playing to focus my efforts solely on refereeing around, I think I was about 16. So yeah, that's how it started.
Nice, nice. So what was that kind of like first jump? A lot of us start doing it, like you said, to make some extra cash. And what was that first like moment where you were like, oh, I can do this more than just like around my backyard?
Exactly. Yeah. So around that same time when I kind of gave up playing to focus on refereeing, I think was around the time I was invited to my first state cup. That high level youth competition, you're fighting to get to the semifinals and the finals. And as referees, we're doing the same. We're trying to perform and get those semifinal and final assignments and realizing that competitiveness. I enjoyed that. I wanted to perform to that level. And that same year, I kind of got invited to the regional championships after state cup. So going to regionals and realizing, this goes all the way to national level, and you're realizing that competitive nature. It's just like playing, but only on the refereeing side. So that's kind of when I realized, and I started working with other officials that have been doing it for a long time. And they were telling me, you can get your grade 7, grade 6, you can work your way up, you can do college. And it really opened my eyes to really where you can take refereeing.
Yeah, awesome. So when did you end up joining the college ranks, and when did you join NISOA, and like how was that process and working your way up from there?
Yeah, so my first year in ISO, I believe, was 2012, and that was my freshman year in college. And I went to college in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. And we're very fortunate in North Carolina. We have a ton of college soccer throughout all divisions. I think within a 30-minute to an hour drive where I am, I can get to 10 or 15 different colleges. So like there was just a plethora of opportunities when I joined the NSOA, which was great because I got to experience a lot of different soccer. Yeah.
Nice. And how would you say the college game has helped prepare you for the pro games? Is there that kind of stepping stone bridge or anything
Yeah.
like that?
So college is unique more than any other aspect of soccer, I think, in the diversity of the game. Not only just between divisions, Division One, Division Two, D3, JUCO, but just the styles of players you see, the skill level of players. On a Saturday you could be doing a D3 men's game, and then on a Sunday you could go do a D1 women's game. And what works in that D3 men's game isn't necessarily going to work in that D1 women's game. So it really allows you to train and flex that mental muscle of being adaptable between skills and playing styles for the player side, but also for the referees that you work with. I mean, college is unique in the fact that I think it's very rare that I work on a crew where I know everyone really well. I think most college games I do, there's at least one member of the crew that I either haven't worked with or have only worked with a few times. I haven't seen them in a couple of years, which is great because you see different styles of referees. You can learn from them. You see what they do in their game, and you can kind of take bits and pieces and incorporate into your game. That diversity that you get with the players and with referees, training yourself to mesh your style with the styles of people you work with just to be successful as a crew. I think that's super important and a good skill that's utilized at all levels of soccer, not just college.
Cool. So switching gears, big day.
Yeah.
Where were you when you found out that you had been assigned, and how did you react?
So I don't have like a lavish story of where I was. I think I got the email on a Saturday. I was sitting at home. But I'll never forget it. The way it worked in 2020 is we get an email asking for our availability. So I saw the subject line pop up, availability September 6th, DC United, New York City. I got super excited. My heart started racing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my first game. I'm AVR certified as well, so I didn't know if I was going to be in the booth or on the field. But I, scrolled through the details and scrolled down, and it said AR Ryan Graves, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, like my first game on the field. That's crazy. I got super excited. Started rereading the email. This is kind of the funny side of the story. This kind of swing of emotions because I reread the details of the email, and it said September 6th was the date of the match, and my fiance's birthday is September 6th, and so we love to celebrate birthdays. Like we always go somewhere, we go party it up, or do something special. And in 2020, you get to fly in 2 days before, take a test, match day -1, do the game. So you're gone for 3.5 days for each game. So I missed her whole birthday weekend. So and that aspect, I kind of brought down the excitement, but then I told her about it and she was like, wow, that's great. I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. You have to do it. And we celebrated her birthday the next weekend. So it worked out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So she's forgiven you then?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She was just as excited as I was. She's awesome. She's very supportive. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad it worked out,
Yeah.
As we all know, refereeing comes with some sacrifices on
Absolutely.
the
Yep.
home life. So to have someone supportive, that's so important.
Absolutely.
So what did your preparation look like? What did you do anything different? Can you walk us through like your week before prep?
Yeah. So my preparation going into the match wasn't that much different than all the other matches I do. The only major difference, I think, was just mentally preparing for VAR. So MLS, we have VAR, especially as ARs, we have what's called VAR delay on offside decisions. And that's something you don't get to physically practice on any other game. We don't do it in college. We don't do it in USL. It's something that you can't physically do until you're on an MLS match. So going into the game, I knew I had to mentally prepare for that because from the second the first whistle blew, I wanted to be ready, to incorporate that into my game. So how I went about that was I just pulled up offside videos online. We have perception tests that we take of close offside decisions. And if I had somebody offside and they were on a goal scoring opportunity, I would say physically to myself, video, delay, delay, delay. When the play ran out, I'd say offside. Just mentally prepping myself to be able to do that in the game, I think was important because it's something I hadn't done before. It's such a big part of MLS now. And then my first half of the game, I actually had a VAR delay, so I'm glad I practiced it.
Yeah, you were ready to go.
Yeah.
So what did game day look like for you? You said you fly out match day -2. So from the time you arrive till final whistle, kind of, can you take us through the process?
Yeah, so I drove up to DC match day -2, stayed in the hotel that night. Match day -1, we went and got our COVID tests. It was actually kind of nice because where they put us in DC was kind of in a downtown area, and the stadium was only probably about 1.5 miles away. And so I remember it forever. It was a gorgeous day. It was like 75, and I didn't drive to go take my COVID test. I just walked the city to go take the tests, and then came back to the hotel, chilled out, got dinner with the crew, met up with a couple people from the crew. As far as game day goes, pretty normal with any other game day. I'm probably different than most people, as I don't like to eat a lot on game day. It was a 7 p.m. game, it was a night game, so I had a good breakfast. But I don't usually eat anything less than 4 hours before a game. I just like to feel light. I like to feel just ready to go. But yeah, breakfast in the morning. We got a small lunch with the crew right before we left for the stadium. Went back, took a nap, and then most of that was the same. Like I always, after I get up from about a 30-minute to an hour nap, I take about 3 perception tests, which is just videos of close offside decisions using, the flash lag effect, just to get you in the kind of that mental space that you're going to experience during the game. So I do about 2 or 3 of those, get dressed, get in the right mental space and head out to the game. Getting to the stadium was probably the most memorable part of the day. Throughout the day, I was getting emails, texts from people, friends, colleagues, people that I've worked with, people I hadn't heard from in months even, they saw I was on the game. They sent their well wishes. So it was great to see that. And we had our own cars. We couldn't ride together in the car, but just getting to the stadium and taking in that, I'm not here as a spectator like I usually am. I'm here to go down to the tunnel, go to the locker room and officiate the game. So it was just it was a great experience.
So what's one thing you're never, ever going to forget? or a couple things you're
Yeah,
never.
yeah, it's hard to pick one. Yeah, I'll give you a couple. So the first thing I think is just the ways DC Stadium is the locker room's kind of underneath, and then you walk up the stairs into onto the field. So like when I was with the crew pregame and the players lined up behind us, we were walking out the field. You walk up those stairs, and even with no fans there, like this big giant stadium just opens up in front of you. Like it was kind of almost that feeling of I'm here, I've made it. This is what my dreams and my goals have been to get to. I'll never forget that feeling, but I had to immediately push that feeling to the side because now it's like, okay, you're here, but you got to prove you belong here. So you got to push that to the side and focus on what you're doing. But that's one I'll never forget, that feeling of walking out. The other thing is I'll never forget the difficulty of the first half. The first half of my first game was very difficult. I had a lot of close offside decisions, goal scoring offside decisions. I think all told together, I had 6 offside KMIs just in the first half. Yeah. So, but I was very confident in him. Like when I came off the field in the first half, I was very confident in those decisions. I feel like I nailed them, which helped me get in the right mental space for the second half. I was like, okay, the second half can't be much harder than that. So just keep doing what you're doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, 6. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it was a very attacking oriented half.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else from game day you want to share, or game experience, anything like that?
Um, Not really. I mean, I couldn't have asked for probably a better crew to work with on my first game. Ted was the referee, and I've known Ted for years. Region 3, he's been a mentor at regionals. I've known him for years, so there was a nice comfort level working with him on my first game. He knew me, I knew him, which was great. The whole crew was very experienced. We met before the game. I asked some questions. I got some feedback after the game. I think overall the experience was what you expect. It's nerve-wracking for yourself, but the crew there is just there to support you, and they're there to hope to be successful with them. So it was just great to have such a supportive crew the whole day. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you want to give to the Nisoa family trying to get to where you are today?
One piece.
Or multiple.
Yeah. I think the biggest piece of advice I have, and it's going to sound cliche and overused, but it's because it's tried and true, is you can't really cheat hard work, right? So perfecting the task of refereeing and perfecting the skills that go into refereeing takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Clip sessions, reading the rule book, fitness requirements week in and week out. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of hard work, and you can't cheat that. And every time we step onto the field, the game, the players, the coaches, the spectators, they all deserve our best. And if you give them your best 100% of the time, the rest will fall into place. You'll be seen, people will notice you, people will talk, your reputation will build, and things will happen for you. And I think if you just put in the work every single time, you'll be good.
Great. Do you have anything else you want to share? That's all I've got for you. It's a lot of knowledge and experience, and is there any parting words you have?
No, I think we covered most of it. The only thing I'll say is, just stay safe and healthy. Hopefully we can get through this COVID situation, and I hope to see a lot of you back on the field soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, Nisoa family. Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Looks forward to more of your successes in this upcoming year, hopefully.
Thank you.